What's going on, everybody? This is the Alex Rojas Show. I am your host, Alex Rojas. And today we're talking less about baseball, nothing about hunting. We're just talking straight fitness and discipline. And something that I've been working on really meticulously is my discipline, my self-control, focus, motivation, commitment, and understanding process over outcome. And a lot of this comes from the mental performance coach certification that I'm going through with an individual named Brian Kane, who I respect very much. And it all starts for me with fitness, right? Fitness is the easiest way to challenge your mind, and you do it by challenging your body. Like, your only vehicle for mental development is your body, right? Because you can't make your mind do anything that your body can't physically do, I think. And what I mean by that is you can want to run a 100-mile race, but unless you put your body through it, you're not going to know mentally if you can. You can want to face a guy throwing 95 miles an hour, but until you've actually physically done that, your brain isn't going to really comprehend that. And like, you can manifest it and like meditate on it and all this other stuff, but until you physically have put yourself in that position, it's not really going to happen. And so what I've been doing lately is like trying to find a schedule, trying to find a discipline routine that really works. And what I have found recently is I started off like a couple months ago with 75 hard, more than a couple months ago. It's like 7 months ago. 75 hard was a big thing for me. And then the next thing was, okay, so I'm done with 75 hard and I've created a discipline routine. Now I'm going to do this 100-mile race. And then at the end of the 100-mile race, I was like, well, what else can I do? Like, I need something to shoot for. And that's where hunting season comes in. But I'm thinking in the long term here. Like, what can I actually build that has a long-term process over outcome approach to it, which allows me to maintain focus. I can stay motivated, constantly work on my commitment, have to have self-control, have to develop discipline. And it's been really important for me to find these recently. And this was before I went into my mental performance coaching certification. And for me, it all starts with fitness. Right? So what am I going to do daily from a fitness perspective, from a nutrition perspective, from a recovery perspective that's going to allow me to maximize my time on this planet? Because I think that that's very important. And so for a while, I was just doing barbell and kettlebell work from this guy named Pat Damanio, something like that. And he's a big kettlebell guy. He's an unconventional lifter. Kettlebells, maces, steel clubs. But he gets some of the barbell. He does WODs, uses dumbbells, uses all that sort of stuff. But for me, I just needed to get back into that regimen. There was another guy that I was following, and I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He's got a very Russian last name. And he had this whole thing of like how to start with your discipline, how to identify things that you are failing at, how to focus on your relationship with God. And the last piece was, how do you speak to yourself, right? And so that was a thing that really got me into the mental performance side of things. So waking up, studying scripture, saying prayers before I go to bed, doing something hard when I wake up in the morning, journaling, focusing on a monthly budget, doing that weekly, going through it, making sure that I'm executing these financial goals, and then prioritizing your health and your fitness to actually give the most of yourself to somebody else, whether that's in a relationship, whether that's from a business standpoint, your clients, your athletes, whatever it is. And it all comes down to fitness and faith, in my opinion. You got to have faith that's going to allow you to have a fallback, right? Like, why am I doing this? Why am I going through this? You have to have a relationship, in my opinion, with God, Jesus Christ. And it's not easy. Like, there's days where I fail. There's days where I don't want to say it, but I guess it would be, I'm an outstanding Christian. But it's like sermons and prayer and journaling, and it's all about God and reading scripture and all these other things. But it also has to be tied in with fitness, right? And I'm not connecting the two, but you need some form of a fitness and some form of a faith. And you put those things together, you can be focused, you can stay motivated, stay committed, have discipline, have self-control, and have a process over outcome. Because that's essentially what faith is. Like, because essentially the outcome in faith is you want to get to heaven, right? But that's 1% of the goal. The other 99% is like, okay, well, how are you living your life? Like, are you following what Scripture is telling you to do? Are you pursuing a relationship with God? Are you trying to maintain the relationship that you have in a godly fashion? Are you studying Scripture? Are you saying your prayer? Are you making a commitment to God? Right? And it's the same thing with fitness, right? Here's my outcome. I want to be able to do this. Okay, well, what's your process to get there? Right? Like, what's your daily focus? And for a while, for me, my fitness and faith went hand in hand with running. And it's not that I don't run. I went on a run earlier. And it's more about, okay, so this is where your fitness goal is, and this is where your faith is. How do we expand on that? So then it turns into, okay, well, I'm reading Scripture and I'm praying. Okay, well, now I'm running and I'm lifting. Okay, well, now I'm doing Scripture, I'm praying, and I'm listening to sermons. Okay, so you're lifting, you're running. What else are you going to focus on? Right? And that's where the idea of actually planning stuff out gives me a much better understanding. Like right now, I've got my schedule for the week over on this whiteboard in the corner. And my Monday, I've got 5 things that I've got to execute. And they're business, they're personal, they are, meal prep. I guess that's nutrition and fitness kind of going the same thing. But like all of them are focused on, okay, I'm trying to get all this stuff done so then I can have a much easier time at work tonight while I'm relaxed and I'm able to focus on my clients because I'm not thinking about, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that, I should have done this. And I think that it's really important, again, fitness and faith go together. Like after this, I'm going to sit down and write in my journal about my relationship with God and where it's been lately. And, you know, the next day I have other things to do, and the following day and the following day. And I think it's really important for anybody, not just young men, not just young women, but all people of all races, religions, fitness positions in their journey, whatever you're at. I think it's really important for you to like try to have some sort of a guidepost every single day on top of your discipline, right? So your faith is a part of your discipline. Your fitness is a part of your discipline. Your nutrition is part of your discipline. Your goal setting is part of your discipline. But I think if you don't have a faith to fall onto, like what are you really going for, you know? And I don't know if everyone feels that way, but I definitely feel that way. Like when I am the most committed to my faith, I'm also really in the gym. I'm also really process oriented. I'm really goal oriented. I've got great discipline everywhere. Like you come into my house, you see all these whiteboards and things on the walls and all this stuff. You'd be like, what is happening? But it helps me. And I'm constantly having to recommit to certain things because I fall off. Then I have to recommit. But I at least have a foundation that's been set, which is like my fitness and my faith are non-negotiables. I have to do them every single day. Or if I fall off one day, I got to pop back on the next day. And, you know, lately it's been a lot about, I need to make sure that I am eating right because that's been the main thing. And I've got a very close friend of mine, and she's a very successful online fitness coach. And, you know, we were talking about food the other day, and so I was like, dude, I got to step up with my food. So after I'm done with this, I'm going to physically measure out on a food scale, like how much food I need to eat. And like, I need 4 ounces of this. I need 6 ounces of that. I need a cup of this. I need millimeters of that. And that's getting me into those discipline types of things because I don't feel like I'm out of shape. I feel a little fluffy, like 206 pounds. I haven't been 206 pounds in a long time. I normally walk around like 188, 192. And, you know, I've put on a little bit of weight. And it's not that I've been eating poorly. I think I've just been eating too much. So my discipline hasn't been there. I've been motivated to eat better. I've been committing to better meals, but I'm just eating too much food, you know? And then we go to my fitness side of things. Like I was just doing my barbell and my kettlebell workouts from this guy, Pat. And I know I was converting. If it was a kettlebell workout, I would convert a couple moves to a barbell workout. And that was good for a while. But then it also got to the point where I was like, well, I want to build some muscle, like not just do compound lifts. Like I want to do some auxiliary stuff. So again, I go to my friend who's an online fitness coach, and she's got workouts that she posts all the time. And so I'll save those and I'll add them in. So it allows me to actually isolate areas. Like today was basically like a big bicep day without just focusing on curls. Like it's just a bunch of stuff that allow you to focus on your biceps. Go on my run. I did jujitsu this morning. I meal prepped. I've done some work for TPC. I've done some personal business stuff. Did some recovery already. Going to have some faith focus later. So all of these things really add up. But again, it starts with fitness. Like if I'm not executing my own fitness goals, the other things are going to fall off for me. right? It's not that fitness is more important than faith, but me being fit and pursuing strength and conditioning actually allows me to commit more to faith because I'm not worried about, I didn't move today. No, I moved plenty today. Okay, now it's time for you to sit down, recover, relax, focus on what you need to focus on. So what I'm focusing on outside of food is, what are we doing from a sleep perspective? Like, are you getting enough sleep? What's your hours, right? Because I did a really good job when I was doing 75 Hard of waking up early and executing that, but I get off late. Like, sometimes I'm not home until 10:30, then I got to walk my dog, I got to feed him. Like, it's a whole bunch of shit. But it puts me in a bad perspective. It's like, okay, if you want to wake up at 5 tomorrow, like, you're not getting the amount of sleep that you need. And then we go back to, if you're really disciplined and motivated and committed, you don't really need that much sleep. But then being a coach of athletes and talking to people all the time, if I'm not mildly recovered, I'm not going to be the best version of myself. So it's this double-edged sword of like, I want to wake up early, but I know I probably need more sleep, and I'm constantly battling this stuff. And that, again, goes back to faith. Like, hey, God, just help me get through this tough season right now. Let me push through this. So when I'm thinking about, recovery, it's not just like, what am I doing from a physical perspective and how much recovery do I need? But it's also like spiritual recovery, like mental recovery. Like, am I giving myself grace? Am I holding guilt over my head? Oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. But if I stick to my calendar, like, dude, you did all that stuff. Focus on that other stuff tomorrow. Like, now it's time to recover. Now it's time to show up for your clients. It's time to show up for yourself. It's time to show up with your relationship with God. You need to talk to yourself differently, which goes into what that Russian cat, but I can't think of his name. I think his name is also Pat. Odd. I don't know why. But he talks about having a king's standard, right? You got to have a standard and talk to yourself as if you were a king. You know what I mean? Like, when you look at yourself in the mirror, like I'm looking right now, like, talk to yourself like you're a king. How would you talk to yourself, right? You would talk to yourself in this way, like I'm looking right at the camera, right? You wouldn't talk to yourself in this way, right? So there has to be this understanding of, okay, in my relationships, this is who I'm going to be. At my place of business, this is who I'm going to be. In my fitness journey, this is who I'm going to be. And speaking to yourself like that as a king, and then you start to realize, like, dude, all that stuff is worth it. Like, if I think about myself in this way, like, all that stuff is worth it. The faith, the fitness, the nutrition, the business goals, pushing yourself mentally and physically, all these things are very, very worth it. And so ultimately, it's about creating a system of fitness, faith, discipline, motivation, commitment, focus, all those things that's sustainable. Not just something that's just a flash in the pan for a couple of months, And so that's what I'm on the journey of figuring out, is like, how do I maintain this for a long period of time? And so it takes what my friend Katie talks about, is it takes anchors. Like, what are your anchors? And for me, a big anchor, again, faith, fitness. Because if those two things are in line and I'm operating with those as my main target points, so I'm doing a great job, because then I can execute all the other things because I don't feel guilty about not doing those things. You know what I mean? So I hope this was a good podcast for those who needed it. Keeping it short, simple, and sexy today. And if you haven't checked out the other podcasts for baseball players, check out my Field podcast. If you just want to get a better understanding of some relaxation and some campfire stories, check out my Fire podcast. This was our Fight podcast. So again, we're talking fitness, faith, discipline, all the things that everybody needs, not just baseball players, not just hunters and fishermen and outdoorsmen, but all people. All right. Thank you guys very much. See you later.